Incredible truth of a black nanny revealed, 12 life-changing secrets behind blood-stained pajamas. Rosa was more than a nanny. She was a fixture in the elegant home of the Arbuckles, living proof that love could flourish even in the most affluent elegance of Baltimore suburbia. Day in and day out, she read stories, sang lullabies, and wiped away tears from the 3 children who filled her heart with joy. Yet every hug she shared reminded her of the aching void left by her estranged daughter, Maya. The smile on Rosa's face was infectious, but behind those gentle eyes lay a tempest of emotions, a constant longing for her child living just a stone's throw away, trapped in a world filled with struggle and despair. One afternoon, as the afternoon sun poured through the windows, casting a warm glow on the pristine fabrics of the Arbuckle household, Rosa paused over a load of laundry. Her hands brushed against something soft and damp. Pulling out a set of pajamas, she felt her heart stop. They were blood-stained. Panic rushed through her chest, tightening like a vice. What had happened? Whose blood was this? The pristine family she dedicated her life to suddenly felt shrouded in shadows, secrets lurking behind their polished smiles. An array of memories flooded her, family dinners filled with laughter, quiet moments reading bedtime stories, and the innocence in the children's eyes suddenly felt deceptive. Were they safe? She felt a fleeting urge of frustration. Each day, she poured her heart into their lives, yet here she was, left in the position of a mere caretaker, never truly seen or appreciated for her sacrifices. Her throat tightened when Maya, unsure and desperate to reconnect, ventured into a conversation about Rosa's employer. A connection that should have brought comfort unearthed unsettling revelations. "Mom, there is something you should know about the Arbuckles," Maya said, her eyes betraying an unspoken fear. They might not be who they seemed. The tension between them escalated, leaving an irritable silence hanging in the air. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Over the following days, Rosa's thoughts raged like an uncontrollable storm. The blood-stained pajamas felt like a damning symbol of a world where her loyalty was questioned. Could she stay with a family that might be hiding something darker? More painfully, could she turn her back on her child, who yearned for her guidance in a dangerous world? Arising from the depths of despair, Rosa found herself facing the mirror. Tears glistened in her eyes as she whispered to her reflection, "What do you want?" The internal battle raged fiercely, the need to protect the children she cared for and the desire to reclaim her connection with Maya. Just then, a knock at the door pulled her from her thoughts. It was Maya, face pale but resolute. "We need to talk, Mama." This was it. A moment that could shift the course of their lives forever. The stakes rose as unspoken secrets lingered in the air between them, each breath echoing in a fragile balance. Could they find a way to mend their rift, or would the weight of the past shatter everything? As she stared into her daughter's troubled eyes, Rosa stood at a crossroads. Would she confront the unsettling truths of the Arbuckles or fight to rebuild the bond with her own flesh and blood? The answer hovered like an unscalable wall, waiting to crumble. Rosa felt time freeze in that moment, the air thick with unspoken fears and hopes. She opened the door wider, inviting Maya in, but uncertainty snaked through them. They settled onto the old floral sofa, the living room heavy with silence, only the ticking clock marking the passage of time. "Mama, I don't know how to say this," Maya began, her voice trembling. "But you need to be careful. I've seen things about the Arbuckles that don't add up." Rosa's heart sank at the weight of those words. "What do you mean?" "They've been good to me, or at least I thought they were," she stammered, her protective instincts flaring up. "Trust me, it's not what it seems." Maya pressed, and desperation flickered in her eyes. "It started when I saw their oldest son, Charlie, with a group of older kids. They were talking about money, about getting even with someone. I overheard them saying things about a deal gone wrong. Rosa clutched the cushion, the fabric crumpling beneath her grip. Her mind raced. Charlie was the child she often praised for his bright mind and kind heart. Could it be true? Maya, you might be mistaken, she whispered, trying to grasp at the hope that this was just a misunderstanding. I wish I was. Maya's voice rose, filled with hurt. Ever since you've been with them, I've felt it in my bones. I want you back, Mama. I can't lose you to a family like that. The pain writhed in Rosa's chest. How had she allowed herself to lose touch with her daughter so profoundly? Her guilt spiraled, realizing that while she cared for the Arbuckles' children, she had let Maya slip away into a darker reality. Maya, I'm trying to do right by you and the kids. But what if you're wrong? What if I leave and they need me? Need you? Maya implored, stepping closer. What about what you need? You're not just a nanny, you're my mother. Rosa's breath hitched at the truth in those words. The basement of her heart echoed with the truth she had long suppressed. She had been more than a caregiver, and yet, here they were, ensnared in a cycle of anxiety and mistrust. Just then, the door to the bedroom cracked open, and the youngest Arbuckle, little Anna, peeked out, rubbing her sleepy eyes. Rosa, can you read me a story? She mumbled, her small face lighting up with innocent joy that momentarily cut through the tension. Rosa felt her heart shatter, torn between two worlds. On one side, the children who depended on her, and on the other, the daughter whose love kept her grounded. She knelt beside Anna, pushing her own turmoil to the side, if only for a moment. Of course, sweetheart, she replied, forcing a smile as she ushered Anna into the living room. Maya watched, torn between the desire to protect her mother and the reality that Rosa had willingly stepped into a world that may very well be threatening. Just before Rosa could open the storybook, Maya grabbed her wrist, desperation etched on her features. Mama, please just be careful, all right? I'm scared. The plea hung heavily in the air, and looking into her daughter's eyes, Rosa's mind raced. Could she really safeguard her family by staying? What if the truth about the Arbuckles was more dangerous than she could ever imagine? With Anna nestled beside her, Rosa faced a choice that could redefine everything. Could she unravel the bonds with the Arbuckles to protect her true family? That question loomed large, leading her to the precipice of a new journey. One that would demand courage and sacrifice, forcing her to confront what lay beneath the surface of her seemingly idyllic life. As she opened the book, the first words echoed in her heart, once upon a time. But what kind of story would unfold in their lives? Would they return to a fairy tale ending, or face the harsh reality lurking just beneath the surface? Rosa opened the book slowly, the fragile pages trembling under her fingertips. The words once upon a time felt like a distant echo, their usual comfort lost in the turmoil of her heart. She could barely focus on the children settling beside her, their innocent smiles a stark contrast to the storm raging within her. Anna's tiny hand squeezed hers, a soft gesture that should have soothed her, but instead sent a fresh wave of guilt crashing over her. She should be there for her daughter, Maya, who was right to worry, but the Arbuckles' children needed her too. In that moment, she felt like a tightrope walker, teetering dangerously between two realms of love and loyalty. Mama, start reading. Anna chirped, oblivious to the tension smothering the air. Rosa forced a smile, her voice soft, the words flowing out. Yet, each line seemed to blur, transforming into a lullaby of doubts and fears. As the story unfolded, images of fantasy danced across her mind, a gentle world of adventure and wonder, while reality loomed darkly at the edges. In the back of her mind swirled Maya's warning, like a shadow creeping closer, threatening to engulf her. Charlie's name echoed too, along with the whispers of things that didn't make sense. Maya stood away from her, eyes gleaming with an earnest hope mixed with sadness. Rosa wished she could erase the worried crease on her daughter's forehead. She had to say something to ease the tension, to bridge that painful chasm that had formed between them. Anna, how about we make a deal? Rosa finally suggested, her voice breaking slightly as she turned to face her daughter. You promise to help me with a special project tomorrow, and I'll make your favorite pancakes? Anna's eyes lit up, genuine delight blooming on her face. I promise. She squealed, her excitement filling the gap left by Rosa's worries. But Maya remained still, arms crossed, a silent guardian ready to protect the remnants of their family bond. Mama, don't avoid me, Maya said softly, her voice a thread weaving through the fragile tapestry of the moment. Rosa felt her heart lurch. I'm not avoiding you, Maya. I want to keep things peaceful. For everyone. The somber truth hung heavily in the air. Peace felt like an illusion, as the reality of who the Arbuckles truly were whispering sinister secrets in the corners of her mind. What if the illusion shattered? What then? Mama, you can't buy their happiness. You're not their family. You're mine, Maya's voice turned urgent. What if Charlie isn't just a kid anymore? What if he's mixed up in something deeper? I'm afraid something might happen to you. Rosa's chest tightened. She could feel the warmth of Anna beside her and the sharp edge of reality fraying the edges of their cozy sanctuary. Let us go for a walk after dinner, Rosa finally offered to Maya, a tentative bridge toward communication. I want to hear everything. I want to understand. Maya nodded, a mix of relief and worry etched onto her face. As the story approached its end, she felt the weight of the world press down around them. The familiar cadence of fairy tales no longer seemed comforting. Instead, the burden of unspoken truths felt like a heavy cloak wrapped tightly around her shoulders. Can it really be only a story? Rosa pondered as she closed the book, stealing a glance at Maya. What if our lives are about to twist into something we never expected? The clock ticked ominously in the background, reminding her that time was slipping away. A choice loomed ahead, one that could change everything. And that night, as they settled down, the darkness outside seemed darker than ever. Would she have the courage to confront what she sensed was lurking in the shadows? Would she decide to stand for her family or risk it all for the family she had chosen? Sleep was elusive. Questions unfolded in the silence, promising an awakening to hidden truths. But as the night wore on, Rosa felt one reality crystallize. It wouldn't be long before the truth knocked on her door. As dawn broke, the first light filtered through the curtains, casting a soft glow in Maya's room. Rosa had hardly slept, her thoughts swirling like leaves in a gusting wind. The weight of her decisions pressed down heavily on her chest, like an anchor tethering her to the ground. She could hear the faint sounds of children playing outside, their laughter innocent and carefree, a stark contrast to the storm brewing within her. Rosa rose slowly, her heart racing at the thought of the conversation that awaited them after breakfast. She attempted to shake off the tension, focusing instead on the sweet smell of pancakes that wafted in from the kitchen. Anna bounced into the room, her hair a wild halo of curls bouncing with each step. Mama! Is it pancake time? Anna exclaimed, her face lighting up at the mention of her favorite breakfast. Rosa smiled, the warmth of her daughter's excitement momentarily lighting the shadows of doubt. Soon, sweetheart. Why don't you set the table while I finish up? As Anna scampered away, Rosa did her best to concentrate on flipping the pancakes. But her mind kept drifting to Maya, still quiet and brooding after yesterday's revelations. The fabric of their family seemed to unravel, thread by thread, and she felt a deep-seated fear of losing their connection. Maya finally emerged from her room, her eyes still heavy with the weight of unspoken fears. She sat at the kitchen table, shoulders hunched as if bracing against a chill. Rosa couldn't help but notice the way her daughter's fingers tapped nervously against her leg. Good morning, Maya, Rosa said softly, placing a plate filled with warm pancakes in front of her. I thought pancakes might help lighten the mood. Maya didn't respond right away, merely poking at her food, her brows furrowing in contemplation. Rosa's heart sank. Maya, I don't want pancakes, Mama, Maya interrupted, her voice sharp. I want to talk about Charlie and the Arbuckles. The way her daughter spoke made Rosa's stomach twist. The delicate balance between nurturing the Arbuckle's children and being honest with Maya had been teetering for days. "Okay," she said with a deep breath, forcing herself to meet her daughter's gaze. "Tell me what you're thinking." Maya's eyes filled with a mixture of fear and determination. "I don't think they're just these nice people, Mama. I think there is something wrong with them. After everything you've told me about Charlie, I can't just sit by and pretend everything is fine. What if we're in danger?" Rosa felt the heat of tears prick at her eyes. "Maya, I promise I'm not trying to put us in harm's way. I care about those kids too. What about us?" Maya shot back, the desperation in her voice echoing Rosa's own fears. "What happens when they're not around? When they reveal their true colors?" "Show me the real Charlie," Rosa said softly. "What have you seen? What do you know?" Maya took a shuddering breath, hesitant but filled with purpose. "I overheard something the other day. I didn't want to believe it, but I need you to know. They talk about things, Mama. About stuff that doesn't sound right. It's like they're hiding something." Rosa's heart raced. "Hiding what?" Maya swallowed hard, gathering her resolve. "I think there's danger there, Mama. And if you keep helping them like this," Rosa interjected, but her daughter pressed on, her voice a mix of plea and urgency. "Please, believe me. We have to figure out what's truly going on. Before it's too late." The room felt stifling, heavy with the weight of truth and uncertainty. Rosa could see the fear in Maya's eyes, mirroring her own. The clock on the wall ticked steadily, each second echoing a silent threat. Rosa took a deep breath, embers of resolution igniting within her. "You're right. We need to know, and we will find out together." As she spoke, an unexpected surge of determination coursed through her. The shadows may loom large, but she wouldn't turn away from her family. But the moment they stood on the brink of confrontation, an unmistakable sound shattered the tension. A loud knock echoed through the house, sending a shiver through both mother and daughter. Rosa exchanged a glance with Maya, hearts racing like wild horses. "Who could that be?" Maya whispered, eyes wide. The air felt electric with anticipation. "Stay here," Rosa whispered back, moving toward the door with cautious determination. "I'll handle it." Just as she turned the doorknob, a deep breath and an unshakable sense of foreboding washed over her. Would the truth she sought be waiting for them on the other side? Or was this the moment everything changed? Rosa steadied her breath and opened the door, her heart pounding like a drum. The bright morning light poured into the entryway, illuminating the figure standing there. It was Charlie, his expression unreadable, tension hanging in the air like fog. "Charlie," she said, forcing calm into her voice though every instinct told her to back away. "What are you doing here? Can we talk?" His voice was low, a hint of urgency lacing his words. It made the hair on the back of Rosa's neck stand up. She exchanged another glance with Maya, whose fear was palpable. "Now isn't the best time, Charlie," Rosa started, but he stepped forward, cutting her off. "I know you've been asking questions. I saw Maya yesterday. She's worried about us." He looked past her, his eyes locking onto Maya's. "And you should be, too." Rosa's stomach twisted. "What do you mean? What have you done?" Charlie hesitated, the weight of his unspoken thoughts heavy in the air. "There's a lot you don't know. About our family. About why we need help." Maya stepped forward, trembling but resolute. "If you really need help, why don't you just tell us the truth?" A flicker of something fear or perhaps shame crossed Charlie's face. "Because the truth can be dangerous. And it's not just us in this. It's everyone." Rosa tried to decipher the layers behind his words. It was as if he stood on the threshold of revelation, yet bound by some unseen force pulling him back. "Then you need to tell us, Charlie. We'll never be able to help if you keep us in the dark." He glanced behind him, as if expecting someone else to appear, then leaned in closer. Please, just listen. There's a reason why the Arbuckles moved here. They're not who you think they are. The echoes of Maya's earlier revelations filled Rosa's mind like heavy smoke, curling around her thoughts. What do you mean? Charlie, if they're hiding something, what is it? Maya pressed, her voice shaking but determined, desperation flooding her tone. I can't give you everything right now, Charlie stammered, his words rushed. But you need to keep your distance for now. Things could get dangerous if the Arbuckles find out you're asking questions. Why? What do they want? Rosa's emotions danced between fear and anger at the vagueness of his reply. Charlie looked down, and when he looked back up, his expression was steely. To keep their secrets safe. They'll do anything. You have to promise me you'll protect Anna and Maya. But why would you care? Maya's voice pierced through the tension, her eyes flashing with accusation. Why should we trust you now? Because I've seen what they do. I've seen the lengths they'll go to. I'm not asking for your trust but for your caution. He turned his gaze back to Rosa. You have to believe me. Keep your family close. They'll twist everything if they can. Rosa felt a shiver crawl up her spine, the weight of Charlie's words settling heavy in her chest. Had they unknowingly drawn a dangerous current towards their home? Before she could respond, Charlie's expression shifted. He looked over his shoulder again, fear rising in his eyes. I have to go. Just promise me don't confront them yet. Charlie, wait. Rosa called out, but before she could take a step toward him, he turned and vanished into the morning light. The silence in the room was deafening. Rosa could feel Maya's breath quickening beside her, and Anna's soft whimpers echoed from the other room. What now, Mama? Maya's voice quivered with anxiety. Rosa felt overwhelmed, the walls closing in as questions spiraled around her mind like a relentless storm. She had thought they would get answers today, yet now it seemed the layers of mystery thickened even more. We need to find out what they're hiding before it's too late. In that moment, Rosa realized, every decision from here on out would shape their future, and the truth they uncovered could save them or bring about their ruin. And as the days stretched ahead, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were not just at a crossroads. They were standing on the edge of a precipice. Would they jump into the unknown together or would fear hold them back? The sunlight streamed through the window, spilling golden rays across the living room floor. Yet, the warmth felt far away and coldness snaked through Rosa's veins. She turned toward Maya, whose wide eyes still reflected the lingering shock from their encounter with Charlie. Mom. Maya began, her voice trembling. What do we do now? Rosa took a deep breath, fighting the urge to crumble. We need a plan. We can't let fear take over. She stepped toward the bookcase, fingers grazing the spines of dusty novels as if seeking anything that could offer guidance. Like Charlie said, we really shouldn't confront the Arbuckles, Maya insisted. What if he's right? What if they hurt us? Rosa interrupted, shaking her head as a knot of anxiety tightened in her stomach. We have to approach this carefully. We can't charge in blindly. Anna's whimpers softened momentarily, and Rosa's heart ached for the innocence of her youngest. It was a world tainted by secrets and shadows she never wished to expose to her children. Maya glanced at Anna, who was sprawled out on her tiny blanket, lost in a dream. Do you think Charlie is telling the truth? Rosa paused, the uncertainty biting at her. I don't know. But he seemed scared, more afraid than I'd ever seen him. She turned back to her daughter, whose brow was furrowed with concern. We need to gather more information. If the Arbuckles truly are hiding something, we have to find out what. What do we even know about them? Maya crossed her arms, frustration growing. Every time we think we get close to the truth, something stops us. Then let us not stop, Rosa replied, determination tickling the edge of her voice. Today, we'll reach out. We can talk to Mr. Pierce, the old neighbor, he's lived here forever. He might know something. And if we keep it casual, the Arbuckles won't suspect a thing. Are you sure? Maya said, worry still etched on her features. What if this just makes it worse? Worse is not something I want to think about right now, Rosa said firmly, though her own heart pounded with unease. But I'd rather face it head-on than live in fear. For you and Anna, I'd do anything. Maya nodded, albeit reluctantly. Okay, let us do it. As they started to move toward the front door, a sudden bang echoed from the back of the house, followed by a string of shouts. Rosa spun around, gaze locking on the closed door leading to the kitchen. What was that? Maya's voice barely rose above a whisper. I don't know, Rosa replied, a shiver stabbing through her. Quickly, they moved toward the noise, stepping cautiously. The atmosphere felt charged, as if the air itself was warning them. Hand in hand, they crept down the hallway, hearts beating in synchrony. Each step was agonizingly slow, as uncertainty morphed into fear lurking just outside their sight. When they reached the kitchen door, Rosa grasped the handle, her pulse racing. On 3, she whispered. Maya took a breath, nodding. 1, 2. Before she could finish, they pushed the door open with a creak that echoed like a scream in their ears. What met them on the other side was not just the kitchen, but the crumbling vestiges of a secret they had never imagined. And in that moment, Rosa realized they were no longer just at the edge of a precipice, they teetered dangerously on the cliff. What awaited them in that kitchen would change everything. The kitchen was a chaotic scene of scattered papers and overturned chairs. The table was littered with torn pages, and what looked like remnants of a hastily abandoned meal had long ago congealed into an unsettling tableau. Shadows danced along the walls, the light flickering from the remaining bulbs overhead. Every instinct in Rosa screamed at her to retreat, yet curiosity and protectiveness drew her in, the girls close behind her. Maya, stay back, she whispered, her voice trembling at the edges. She felt her daughter's small hand tighten around her wrist, as if wanting reassurance in a moment of rising dread. They stepped inside, the door creaking ominously behind them. Rosa could feel the weight of the kitchen pressing down on her, secrets heavy in the air, almost palpable. Amidst the disarray, an old photograph caught her eye. She leaned over to pick it up, her breath hitching slightly. It was worn and faded, depicting a cheerful family in front of a magnificent tree, the Arbuckles. They were smiling, they looked so normal. Yet the way the image sat in the chaos felt entirely wrong. In the corner of the photo, there was a figure who seemed out of place, a little girl with dark hair who seemed familiar. It's just a picture, Maya's voice faltered, but Rosa saw the worry in her eyes mirrored in a reflection of her own fear. Suddenly, another loud thud echoed from the back of the kitchen, causing Rosa's heart to drop. What is going on here? She demanded, forcing herself to move towards the noise, every instinct urging her to flee. As they approached, she heard voices, low, urgent whispers. Her stomach twisted. Who could be in their house? The Arbuckles? Panic surged through her as she recalled Charlie's warning. Mom, we should go. Maya pulled back, but Rosa shook her head, determined. No, we can't. We have to know, she replied. She took a deep breath and pushed through a kitchen door that led to the dimly lit pantry. It was small, filled with shadows that bubbled with secrets. There, in the corner, she glimpsed 2 figures hunched over a piece of fabric. Dread washed over her as she recognized the pattern. Blood-stained pajamas lay crumpled on the floor, their softness stark against the harshness of what they represented. Reluctantly stepping further in, Rosa's attention focused entirely on the scene, desperate to glean the truth from the fragmented whispers. We can't keep covering this up, one of the figures said in a voice that chilled her to the bone. If anyone finds out, it'll be over. For all of us. The other spoke softer, almost pleading. You know they won't understand. They'll think we are monsters. A wave of nausea hit Rosa as the pieces clicked together, threading a path of horror through her mind. Those pajamas belonged to Anna. Her heart raced, the room closing in as she felt nausea wash over her. What did they know? What had they done? "Mom, I'm scared," Maya whimpered, clutching her tightly around the waist. Rosa turned to her, grasping her shoulders. "We have to find out more, but we need to be careful." Just then, the sound of hurried footsteps echoed toward them, heavy and fast. Rosa's breath caught in her throat as panic gripped her. Was this the moment they'd been warned about? The kitchen door swung open behind them, revealing a tall figure, silhouetted and threatening. For a heartbeat, time froze. Rosa's heart pounded, her pulse roaring in her ears. "Who's here?" The voice boomed, cutting through the tension like glass shattering. The finality of the question sent terror spiraling through Rosa. The secrets they were about to uncover wouldn't just change their lives, they could devastate everything. As shadows loomed and the air crackled with a dangerous urgency, she had to decide: run or confront whatever darkness lay ahead. What truth awaited them on the other side of that door? Rosa felt the walls close in around her, the air thickening with intimidation. Sweat pricked her brow, the kind of fear that claws deep into the stomach. She was frozen for a split second, staring at the figure blocking her escape, fear mingling with a burning need to uncover the truth. "Maya, stay behind me," she said, her voice quieter than she intended, trembling as it slipped out. The shadow stepped forward, the outline of a man materializing against the dim kitchen light. Closer now, she could see hard lines on his face, a dark scowl etched deeply across his brow. He didn't look familiar, but the air around him pulsed with an unsettling energy. "Who are you?" he demanded again, eyes scanning the room. "Show yourselves. What are you doing in here?" Rosa's heart raced. She felt fear but also an unyielding urge to defend her daughter. We were just looking for something," she managed to stammer, trying to keep her voice steady while her mind raced. "Stop lying," he replied sharply. "It's not safe for you here. You need to leave." With that, he stepped further into the pantry. Rosa gulped, the fabric on the floor suddenly feeling like a heavy stone. Her eyes flitted to Maya, feeling her daughter's little hand grasp tighter around her waist. They had no choice. "We need to go." The urgency in Rosa's voice rose in tandem with her racing pulse. But before she could turn, the man fixed his eyes on the blood-stained pajamas. They glimmered in the flickering light, a haunting reminder of what was at stake. Those don't belong to anyone here," he stammered, a crack of uncertainty breaking his bravado. "Why do you have them?" Maya's breath hitched. "They were in the kitchen," she squeaked, her words barely above a whisper, revealing the innocence of a girl who should never have seen something like this. "How much do you know?" The man's demeanor shifted, tension coiling tight. There was something in his gaze, a flicker of concern. In that moment, everything fell silent. Rosa felt the weight of the secret hanging over them like a storm cloud ready to burst. The warmth of her daughter's body pressed against her reminded her of the precious life she needed to protect. "We don't know anything yet," Rosa replied. "But we need to understand what happened. Why those pajamas are here." The man's facade cracked, if only a little. He took a step back, scanning the shadowed corners of the room. "You should turn back. I can't let you get involved in this, it's too dangerous." Rosa's resolve hardened, fueled by the fear of the unknown. "We want to turn back. Not now. We need answers." His eyes widened momentarily, a flash of fear or perhaps regret. It was enough to show her he understood the implications of their discovery. As the air grew thicker, Rosa sensed a change in the atmosphere. Shadows crept, wrapping around them like a living entity, and for a split second, she thought she could hear faint cries echoing softly in the distance. "Fine," the man said, taking a deep breath. "You want answers. But you must promise to listen and not scream." Maya squeezed her mother's hand. "We promise," she said, her voice trembling but firm. With a sudden rush of determination, he stepped further into their space. "Then follow me, but we must be quick. They cannot find you here. As he turned to lead them deeper into the pantry into the unknown, Rosa could feel her heart hammering in her chest. The shadows stretched, pulsing uncertainly around them, concealing secrets that might shift the very foundation of their lives. What lay ahead could forge a path to truth or destruction. As they braved the darkness, one question echoed in her mind. Would they be ready for the unimaginable revelations to come? The man pushed open a narrow door hidden behind a stack of old boxes, revealing an underground passage shrouded in darkness. A faint light flickered at the far end, casting long shadows that danced on the stone walls. Rosa felt the urge to pull Maya back, to retreat into the safety of the pantry, but the grip of her daughter's hand sent a wave of courage rushing through her. "Stay close," she whispered, nerves igniting her caution. They stepped forward, the cold stone floor sending little shocks through her bare feet. "Who are you?" Rosa asked, her voice almost lost in the silence that enveloped them. The man didn't answer immediately, his brow furrowing as he walked ahead. "My name is Adrian," he finally said, glancing back at them. "And this place isn't what it seems." As they neared the light, Rosa's heart pounded, the warmth of it colliding with the chill in the air. The room was filled with stacks of documents, old photographs, and boxes of forgotten memories. It felt like a sanctuary and a prison. "What do you mean?" Rosa pressed, eyes scanning the items scattered around. A family portrait caught her attention, its cracked frame housing faces that looked eerily similar to the man guiding them. Adrian motioned for them to sit at a dusty table, his expression turning serious. "You're not safe if you know the truth behind those pajamas. There's a reason why they're here, and it goes deeper than you think." Maya's small fingers twitched nervously at the description. "What happened to the person who wore them?" She whispered innocently, not fully grasping the weight of her words. Rosa was struck by a flicker of fear in Adrian's eyes. She was taken," he said, his voice low. "Stolen from her family because they discovered something they were never meant to see. This whole situation is a weaved tapestry of lies and shadows, and now, you're part of it." Rosa's mind raced. The implications were immense, stretching beyond her comprehension, yet she felt an underlying need to understand. What did she see? And why were those pajamas in our kitchen? Adrian leaned in closer, his voice barely above a whisper. "They symbolize something far darker. It's not just about a child, it's about a system that preys on innocence. They want to erase anything that threatens to expose them." Every word dripped with urgency, and Rosa could feel the air shift as the truth marked her very existence. "But how can we help?" she asked. That he hesitated, then took a sickly breath. "If you want to unravel this, you need to find out where they keep the files, evidence that could change everything. But," he added quickly, "it's incredibly dangerous." Maya's grip tightened more, her small embodiment of innocence filling Rosa with an undeniable urge to protect her. "We can't just sit here. We have to do something." Adrian looked into Rosa's eyes, a flicker of admiration surfacing amidst the dread. "Then we need to move fast. Time is not on our side. If they find out," a sudden crash echoed from outside the passage, followed by angry shouts. Rosa's breath caught in her throat, the reality of their situation hitting hard. Time was truly running out. What was that? Maya gasped, eyes wide with confusion. "Stay hidden," Adrian hissed urgently, glancing back toward the entrance. "We might not be alone after all. There's no turning back, but there's also no guarantee we'll come out of this alive." Rosa's heart raced at the thought of danger lurking just outside their fragile sanctuary. The fear was palpable, thick enough to choke, but it was nothing compared to the fire igniting within her. They had come too far to give up now. In that moment, Rosa made a vow not just to uncover the truth, but to shield Maya from the shadows that threatened to engulf them both. As they remained frozen in the darkness, the sound of footsteps echoed closer, and a chilling thought crossed her mind. Were they truly ready to confront what awaited them? Unraveled mysteries and terrifying truths lay in that fragile darkness. With adrenaline coursing through them, Rosa could almost hear the ticking clock of fate counting down. Would they uncover the dark secrets that awaited? She tightened her grip on Maya's hand, resolve hardening in her heart as the footsteps drew nearer. Why had they come? And more importantly, would they survive the darkness that sought to claim them as its own? The room was taut with anticipation, shadows dancing on the walls around Rosa and Maya. They held their breath, adrenaline surging through their veins, waiting for a clue to emerge from the chaos that surrounded them. The door behind them loomed like a dark portal, threatening to unleash whatever lay outside. Adrian's expression reflected a mix of fear and determination. We have to go deeper. There's a safe place, he whispered urgently, glancing back at the entrance, every second ticking with dread. Go where? Rosa asked, gripping Maya's hand tighter, the bond between them a lifeline against the uncertainty. They moved through the narrow passage, the damp, cold air clinging to them as they descended into the unknown. Adrian led them down a series of winding tunnels, each turn echoing with whispers of secrets and danger. Rosa's heart raced, fueled by a mix of protective instinct and an undeniable urge to uncover the truth. Suddenly, a flash of light flickered to life ahead, revealing a hidden chamber filled with boxes piled high, their contents spilling out like forgotten memories. Dust motes floated in the flickering glow, dancing in the warm light. This is where they keep everything, Adrian said, urgency coloring his words. If we can find the files, we might be able to expose the Arbuckles for who they truly are. Rosa took a deep breath, steeling herself. What are we looking for? Documents. Anything that ties them to the disappearances. Adrian moved swiftly, ripping open boxes, papers spilling to the ground as he searched. Maya stood clutching Rosa tightly, her small form radiating fear and determination. Mom, do you think we'll find out what happened? What they did? Rosa knelt down, taking Maya's face into her hands. We will. We have to believe that we can make a difference. Just then, a loud crash interrupted them. The entrance trembled as footsteps thundered closer, a cruel reminder that danger was not far behind. Hide! Adrian hissed, shoving them toward a stack of boxes. They crouched low, heartbeats pounding in harmony, shadows swallowing them as time slowed. Rosa could feel the tension crackling in the air. She exchanged glances with Maya, whose wide eyes were filled with fear and courage. I trust you, Maya whispered, a tiny spark of hope igniting in the darkness. Adrian's face was set, determination shining through the fear. If they find us here, we might not get another chance. Rosa's heart raced, focusing on the footsteps approaching, the sudden rush of urgency awakening something fierce inside her. This was about more than just Clara and the mysteries of the Arbuckles. This was about family, about love, and reclaiming their lives from those who sought to shatter them. The footsteps grew louder, reverberating through the room, but rather than succumb to fear, Rosa felt her resolve harden. They would uncover the truth together, no matter the cost. Now. Adrian grasped the edge of a box and slid it aside, revealing a small door that opened into darkness. In here. They filed through, heart pounding as they squeezed into the tight space, hidden from view. Adrenaline surged as light spilled in, illuminating the shapes of figures moving not far from them. Rosa strained to catch snippets of conversation, her heart sinking as recognition washed over her. Have to find them. You know what's at stake. Don't let anyone see you. They're with her, and if they find out, it will be all over. With their breaths held as the reality settled around them, Rosa glanced at Maya, who seemed to be absorbing every word. This was confirmation of every fear, every suspicion that had whispered throughout their journey. We have to act, Rosa murmured to Maya, who nodded, determination hardening her features. Together, Maya replied, gripping her mother's hand tighter. Rosa felt the pulse of bravery rising within her, her purpose crystallizing. They would confront the Arbuckles, shine light into the shadows, and reclaim their lives. Just as the figures outside began to disperse, Rosa felt a rush. We need to wait for the right moment. If they are hiding something, we must uncover it. In the silence of the darkened chamber, they waited, poised on the edge of discovery. The freedom they sought was within reach, but first, they had to break through the walls of fear. Moments stretched, eking into eternity, until the sound of voices faded down the hallway, leaving them in the hush of quiet determination. "Now," Rosa whispered, stepping back into the dim light. Together, they emerged from the darkness, setting their course toward the unraveling mystery. The air felt different as they moved forward, charged with the simplicity of hope. It fueled their steps as they traversed deeper into the heart of the Arbukle's secrets, ready to face whatever lay ahead. And as Rosa spurred them on, she realized that this was no longer just about uncovering the truth, it was about reclaiming hope, standing firm against the darkness to protect her family, because this was their story. This was their moment. As they rushed into the unknown, they found their courage not defined by fear, but by the fierce love that would guide them through to the light. This was just the beginning of their new journey, the fight for justice, for truth, against all odds. Rosa held on to that hope with every ounce of her being, for herself and for Maya. Together, they would break the silence and reclaim their lives. In a world clouded by shadows, they would embody the light. Don't just witness their transformation, become a part of it. You need to subscribe now to catch each exclusive chapter and support this unfolding journey. Leave a like now to fuel this story forward. Your engagement makes a real difference. Don't wait not even one more second. Comment how this ending has moved you. Your thoughts matter, and share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this powerful connection unfold. Stand with us in the face of adversity, because true fans know the impact of community support.